Be home for happy hour. Don't worry about it.
Happy hour. The game started at 10. We're done by 12.
Let's see if this thing goes
Those are
live
the days.
over there.
Where's that guy from? Was he going to pitch again?
Yeah.
Then he went to pitch at Rimney. Right? He pitched at Rimney.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Right?
What a city that is.
Oh, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, that's a wild city.
Wild, yeah.
That's
Wild's
a
not
wild
the word.
town. All right, we're live on Facebook right now, so
That's awesome.
What a production, huh?
yeah.
Well, let's go. This is fun. Welcome back.
So yeah,
home.
so anybody has any questions, just let us know on this one.
It's your Brooklyn guy, huh?
Yes.
L&B's.
Yeah, I love that place.
What's your favorite?
The
Pizza-wise.
Pizza? L&B Sicilian.
L&B's.
Yeah.
My cousin's one of the owners of L&B's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my
Right.
family's all from Brooklyn originally.
Nice.
Did you ever been to Totono Pizza
Oh yeah.
on Neptune Avenue?
Really good. Really good.
That guy closed. When he runs out of dough,
Shut
that guy
up.
closes
Shut
the
down.
place.
Yep.
He don't care. He closes
school.
Totono Pizza, Neptune Avenue. It's like a tire shop next to him. The guy closes the place.
If I would have known before I got here, this would be one of the only other places I'd move in the country because the pizza here is fantastic.
Forget about it. You gotta have
Right,
Lorenzo.
Chris?
You gotta have
It
Lorenzo
is pretty
make
good,
the
right?
breakfast
Pretty good.
pizza.
You didn't miss a beat.
Oh yeah.
Eggs and bacon.
All right, here we go. This thing is slow.
Thin crust, Chris.
Everyone around here is. To be honest with you, the bigger ones, Modern's my favorite.
Yeah.
Modern, but Zapardi's and Mike's.
Mike's is the best.
Mike's is unbelievable.
That's Mike Bonacore.
Yeah.
I think he's still there, right, Rob?
He is. Only the best.
Remember Mike
closed down.
Bonacore used to be right near Style School? He used to be like a little Mike's Pizza was in like a
Slow.
building half the size of this.
Yeah.
It was Mike's Up Eats. Crazy. Rob Thompson, $40 million later.
This is it.
That's right.
This is it. Bring the microphones up close. All right, everybody
Right.
has to. We have
There
to
we
buckle.
go.
We have to buckle in for this one.
Yeah.
This podcast is. I think it's going to be epic. This might be the all-time favorite. At least it has all the ingredients.
completely.
Yeah. All right. So welcome to the Sports Biz Podcast presented by Game Plan U. We are on the campus of the University of New Haven. This is WNHU. There are way too many Italians in the studio right now. By the
Way
way.
it goes, buddy. You live in West Haven.
Yeah.
You know how that rolls.
Yeah, I'm outnumbered right now.
Yeah, you are.
I'm outnumbered. So we got a lot to talk about. But I think the first thing we need to dive into with you two guys here, we got Louis Petrucci and the coach, Chris Solano. Both of them are coaches.
Chris is a real coach.
No,
He's got to win games.
He is a real coach.
If I win 3 games at Ward Melville, I get a raise. You know what I'm saying? And Chris is laughing because he knows it's true.
The payroll's based on the win-loss record.
Well, let me tell you something. Chris knows what's going on. Think about it, Chris is the 3rd coach at the University of New Haven.
Yeah, that's
Speaking of
it.
3, by the way.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
the 3rd coach. Think about that. In the history of this school,
Yeah.
it's over 60 years, right?
Yeah. And good news is they're all
Yeah.
alive still.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all alive.
Wow.
So let's jump into this, fellas. So we want to talk about let's talk about the business of baseball, and the great thing is we have a perspective from a high school coach and a college coach. So I want to talk about the recruiting process, the business that high school and youth sports has become, and how it kind of merges with the college recruiting scene, right? So Louis, you and I talked a little bit about, what's happening out in Long Island right now, what the strongholds are, what travel baseball is about, and the business that's attached to it. And then Chris we've talked a lot about ad nausea about the recruiting process and the parents' perspective on it. So let's get a high school coach's perspective on the recruiting process, or just the business of high school baseball. Is the high school baseball coach relevant right now in college recruiting?
I think that still, Chris being here, Chris is my friend. I know that. I appreciate that, Chris. He'll probably lie to me, and that's why all my friends lie to me. They tell me I'm good looking, smart, funny. I mean, they lie to me all the time, which is great. But as far as high school baseball goes, I still feel that the high school coach is the one person that will give the college coach an honest evaluation of their player, because he has nothing to gain by overplaying a person. Like if a guy from one of the SUNYAC schools calls me in Division III, and he says, "Well, I got this kid. He's a really good player," and I say, "Well, do you want to beat Cortland?" He says, "Yeah, I want to beat Cortland." "You want to beat Eastern Connecticut?" "Yeah, beat Eastern Connecticut." I said, "Good. He can't play for you." That's the bottom line, Chris. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I never call you about any players, because I don't want to insult your intelligence. You know what I mean? I don't want to say, "Hey, Chris, this kid's really good." Why is he good? Oh, he batted 450 in Long Island. Like what? Who cares? I mean, he probably got 18 singles, hit 1 double in his life, and now he's gonna play at New Haven. We got guys like Steve Bedrosian,
Cameron Drew.
Cameron Drew.
Yeah.
You got Kenny Coleman.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys.
Rob
that,
Riccio, Jimmy Ferguson.
Come on.
Yeah.
There's one team in New Haven. Chris and I talked about it. They had every position player was drafted. Think about that. Hartford refused to play Coach Vieira because he would get beat by Division II team. The Division Ones would never play him.
Yep.
And I think Chris has done a great job here with the scholarships he has, and he knows. Like I never force a kid on Chris unless I know he's going to start here, because why bring up a guy if he's not going to play? I mean, you get a guy from New Haven, get a guy from West Haven. You know, the investment here is tremendous. The time. Moving up here, it's leaving your friends and family. I mean, I don't know.
So, Louis, when you first started coaching, what has changed? Has the kids changed, or have the parents changed?
The parents are using their disposable income to make their kids better baseball players. I mean that. I mean, thank God for the people in my community. Chris knows well. Chris graduated from Ward Melville. I believe you graduated in 1994.
Yeah,
Wow.
1994.
Wow. It's amazing.
Is there?
It's amazing that I graduated.
Are there wanted signs still in the school that don't let him in?
No.
Yeah.
They erased Chris Solano's phone number from the bathroom. That's gone.
I was the one that put it
That's
there.
gone. You were put him there. That's way before things happen. But Rob, I think the parents are investing thousands and thousands of disposable income dollars on pitching lessons, right, Chris?
Yes.
Hitting lessons, showcase money. I mean, I know there's volunteer coaches out there. Chris knows this too, that are making $10,000 to $20,000 a summer, going from showcase to showcase to showcase, because it's a business, and like the guys' kids are paying $1,000 for Head First. What's the other one? Head First. What's the other one? The big one there. The area code.
There's the top 96.
The top 96.
There's the Head First. Those are the national ones.
Yeah, I mean like this.
But Long Island in itself, due to population, there's one. There are showcases that are just native to Long Island that are making money on top of money. You know, to lose point.
And you know what though, Rob? Listen. I can't argue with them. It's great, because if you can make money, people are going to give you money, and you got to take it.
Right.
You know, and I think the parents get so caught up in this allure of scholarships when they don't know. They have no idea that Division I baseball, they got 25 guys on a roster, but there's 40 guys in the program.
Right.
And they got 11.7 scholarships. Division II, they've got 9.6?
9 is the max. 9 flat.
9 scholarships. And Division III, there are no scholarships. The Patriot League is no scholarships.
Ivy.
The Ivy League is no scholarships. So if you're going to go, like I got a player at Princeton, Joe Flynn, who's probably one of the greatest high school baseball players I ever saw, position players. I mean, in terms of clutch performances, he's paying $70,000 a year to go to Princeton, but he got a job this summer, $20,000 internship. And he got a job in the summer making $150,000. So I think he's going to get his money back.
Yeah, that's a good return on your
Yeah, and
investment.
Joe Flynn, you know.
Have you had any Major League Baseball players come out of your school?
A couple of Major League Baseball
Yeah.
players. You know, Steven Matz, of course, is
Yeah.
one, and Steven's a great kid. He always gives back. You know, until Steven Matz was pitching, Chris Solano was the number one lefty. You know what I mean? That's no joke. You know what I mean?
Right.
Chris Solano was the only guy that can win games over there on Old Town Road. I think Chris pitched there. I think they played in between the lacrosse games, I guess.
Yeah, the
Lacrosse was
halftime of
done.
the lacrosse games, they snuck us in.
Yeah. You know, Everett Hart was your coach, Chris?
Yes, he was.
He just passed away a year ago.
Yeah, last year.
I felt bad because I wanted to get Everett Hart back to the field.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Rob, I gotta give the community credit. You know, it's not like West Haven. You know what I mean? Like Chris knows. You know, Robbie, West Haven football.
Yeah.
There's 2,000 people every game.
Yeah.
You know, because the community loves football.
Yeah.
You know, and in Ward Melville, they love that sport with the stick and with
Yeah.
the net on it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get it. I love it too. I think if they had lacrosse here, Rob, and you know,
Yeah.
I think a little guy like me would love lacrosse.
Oh, yeah.
I can run around
Yeah.
and crawl to people's legs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, big
Yeah.
guy like you, be
Yeah.
a defenseman at the long pole.
Yeah.
You'd be crushing people.
Oh, yeah.
Like John Porto,
Yeah.
Victor Esposito, Mark Velarde.
Yeah.
They were all long poles at West Haven. And they beat Hall one year.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? They beat Hall. It was a lacrosse powerhouse.
Yeah.
And West Haven had a lacrosse team. They put all the football players in there. Mark Palmieri, too.
Yeah.
And they beat Hall. I was like, what?
They scared him. Well, we didn't win a game in 4 years that I played. We had the worst
on.
team in America.
Really?
Yeah, the worst team. We fought everybody.
people.
We just fought everybody. That was it. Fought.
This is an excuse.
Getting
to
on the
play.
bus. We fought. And,
Did you
yeah.
play in that game and you played Montville? No, I'm sorry, I got off the top. topic.
Rockville.
Rockville.
Yeah.
With Romanowski.
Bill Romanowski.
Was it
Yeah.
a big brawl?
Yeah. Two bench clearing brawls in that game.
All right. That
Yeah,
happens at West
yeah,
Haven.
yeah. They ended the game in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that was a typical
Chris
West
is
Haven
laughing.
game. Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't move. I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't live here, Chris.
yeah, yeah.
No, I'm glad. I wish
Yeah.
I did. This
Yeah.
place sounded like it was
Let me tell you,
fantastic.
Bill Romanowski was some player.
Yeah, he was a great player. You knew it. You knew it in high school, But there was a lot of good players running around those fields.
Oh,
Hampden was loaded. Hampden had like 5 Division I kids on that team.
Oh, Rich Diana
Oh, they were loaded.
played the NFL. Went to Yale.
Yeah,
Running back for the Dolphins.
yeah,
Nick Giaquino.
yeah.
right.
Scott Burrell.
Huh. Played 2 sports.
He was drafted first round in 2 sports:
Yeah.
baseball and basketball.
Only guy ever.
He was a first, and he was a 3-time All-State. Well, he was All-State in 3 sports here. He was a 6'6" quarterback.
Yeah. He played with Kenny Clee and Ron Perkins, who came to New Haven.
Yeah, yeah.
Kenny Clee.
Yeah.
He talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
Ronnie Perkins. So anyway, so let's get back to the business of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we were on a rant there.
Yeah.
So those kids that you had going through that became Major League Baseball players, did they go through the ecosystem of travel ball and the whole thing?
Yes, Stephen Matz. When Stephen graduated in 2009, he wasn't part of that showcase era.
The East Coast Pro Showcase was the first, his coming out party. I remember.
Yes.
He was a Neil Heaton lesson guy.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Do you remember,
And-
who was on his team? East Coast Pro?
No, I just remember him being at the workout because I was there.
Marcus Stroman,
Well, yeah, for sure,
big
right?
leagues. Mike Trout,
Yep.
big leagues.
Yeah.
Stephen Matz. That's just, that was something.
Those 3 right there isn't bad, right?
That's $20 million in salary. And
Yeah.
Steve Trout is 18 of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Marcus had the other son, $40 million in salary.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous team, Rob. I mean,
Right.
and Steven he went to a showcase in Minneapolis,
Mm-hmm.
and at Ward Melville, he didn't pitch his sophomore and junior years. He had some growth plate issues, so I didn't pitch him, but he was a great first baseman, Chris. I know you saw him play.
He probably could have played
Lyman.
Division I baseball as a hitter and a first baseman. I
tremendous
think.
player.
I think.
And he was a Westie.
Yeah.
I brought Ward Melville, played West Haven,
Did you really?
He played Mike Ancolari one year, and 1 year I played Lou Kessler at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And there's pictures of Steven at West Haven Field. And Chris Everone saved the day. I mean, it was like a cold day in March over here. You know how it is here.
Oh, yeah.
At University of New Haven. And the field got all frozen. Chris Everone, Saturday afternoon, fixed the whole field for us in an hour.
Wow.
And he wasn't even working. That's what a good. Those West Haven people are what made West Haven sports great. And with Steven, he just wanted to play, and I think he would love West Haven. But the thing about Steve is that the showcase era, he wasn't as big as it is now, Chris.
No, not even close. And that's only 2009.
Yeah.
So it's grown exponentially, obviously, since then.
I mean, Anthony Kay is another one,
Yep.
Rob.
Yeah.
First rounder.
He got drafted first round out of UConn, but 29th round out of Ward Melville, which was amazing in itself. Chris, that dropped Chris to number 3 on
Yeah.
the left-handed Ward Melville
On
list.
the Mount Rushmore of left-handed pitchers, I'm like barely clinging on to my spot here. One more, I'm out.
Max Nielsen's going to be good.
Well, then, here we go.
But Chris is still a legend there because, he's the guy that won games when nobody else could win. You know what I mean? He's the only guy that didn't play lacrosse.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Oh, I said that word. Anyway, sure my friends are watching. Tell the AD I'll be fired.
So,
Fine.
so do you have at the moment? See, I segued on this one.
That's all right,
So,
Doug.
do you have college coaches that still come see you right now?
They'll call,
Yeah.
and then they'll come.
Yeah.
Like Chris will call.
Yeah.
Chris shows up every year.
Yeah.
Kevin Layton from Fordham. A lot of guys show up. I think it's because of Steven, AJ Nunziato, Anthony Kay, Ben Brown. I think years ago they would all walk past the baseball field and walk over to the beautiful turf field with the scoreboard and the electricity, the lights, the sound system. I don't know. I'm getting off.
You're not bitter at all. No.
No.
You're not bitter.
Bitterness.
Yeah.
West Haveners don't have bitterness. Rob. We just fight back.
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? You know that.
Well,
right?
revenge. There is
Yeah.
revenge.
Yeah, we still want to find Romanowski in that
Yeah.
football field.
I know it. The dirty dog. The-
Jerry still talks about that. Jerry Gambardella
Still talks
Billy's
about that?
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Billy.
I mean,
yeah.
Jerry's probably one of the best baseball players I ever saw.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jerry Gambardella played, Rob, in today's, and you went to high school with him,
Yeah.
if he played in today's showcase days, he'd been at University of Miami.
Yeah.
Because he would have went to one showcase. He would hit balls left center, right center, home run, doubles, triples. Jerry come to Miami. And Billy Gambardella, same thing too.
Yeah.
No, Billy played football and baseball at New Haven for Frank Vieira.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is?
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I
You know
do.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's in the Hall of Fame here.
Yes.
You know, and
For both sports.
And those are Westies. You know, and Billy played in this era. I can't imagine what would have done in baseball. I mean, football. He was right, Rob. He was unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
I mean, Billy had the rushing record for I think 15 years. Rob, was that right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then he
at
loved
least
Chris
that.
Palmer. Chris had to run and shoot. So he says, "Oh, it's great. I'm going to be passing offense. I'll save my record for another 10, 12 years." And then Chris went to BU. Were you coach, Rob? I
Yeah.
coached at BU.
Yeah. Coach a line there, back in 90, 91.
That must have been exciting.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Right in the middle of Claflin, Rich Hall. over
Oh,
there.
it was great. It was great. Yeah, we used to pack them in about 100, 200 people would show up for our games. They were just waiting for hockey season to start.
Of course, it was.
Yeah, they were just waiting for hockey season to start.
You know, Jack Parker is like
Yeah,
Joe Cuso at Ward Melville.
yeah,
I mean, Jack Parker ruled. You know, the coach of the Rangers is from BU.
Right.
Quinn. Am I getting off the subject again? That's why I
No,
never get invited on
no,
these shows.
no, that's it.
Subject all the time. You know?
This is common practice.
This
for
is
us,
common,
actually.
yeah.
No, I never get on these shows. That's why. They'll never call me anymore. You know.
No.
Chris, funny story. Rob, you'll love this. I was speaking with Stephen Matz. Hannah Withiam from The Athletic calls me. Says, "Hey, before New Year, says Steven, what's he doing? He doesn't live on Long Island anymore because the taxes in New York are great. You know how
Yeah,
it is.
sure.
And he likes to live down south. And Taylor's got her music career going down in Nashville. And she says, Robbie, she goes, is Steven going to come back and, take Taylor to Manhattan, maybe
Right.
watch the ball drop? I says, Hannah, if he wants to come watch the ball drop, he'll come to Ward Melville in the spring and watch our outfield play.
dad jokes. The dad jokes are going.
The bad joke.
The
That's
dad
the one
jokes.
I got, Chris.
Yeah.
And
That's a good- I like that
And
one.
when Chris played at Ward Melville, sure he knew why those balls dropped, right?
Oh yeah, you didn't want the ball. In
But
play.
Rob, those showcase days, it's such a big business now.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids are paying $1,000
Yeah,
for head first. And you know what they do, Rob? They're geniuses. They write down what position they want to play because the position their high school coach wouldn't let them play.
right.
So guys like Chris Solano are going down there and watching the guys throw 77, 78, you know what I mean? And the parents drive there faster than their kids throw. You know what I mean?
That's a problem.
And I wrote that too, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And
you think of that joke on the way up?
Checks, and they're writing checks. And I think John Aguilera said it so many years ago. He said that 15 years ago, he goes, baseball is becoming an upper middle class to rich man sport.
Yes, that is the truth, and that's seen by, if you look at the major league level, the initiatives they have now with the RBI program, and that they're trying to get that population back in the game. But like you just said, if you can't attend these events and you can't travel all summer and play on that circuit, you're not going to get the exposure that you need.
And Chris, let's go back to Chris Solano days. Chris, you graduated in 1993, right?
4, yes.
4.
Yep.
Where'd you play this summer? Who'd you play with?
I played for growing up, it's essentially meaning Little League on up. I played 3 Village Little League, right? Didn't play travel
should be.
baseball. Didn't take a lesson ever.
You could pitch.
And then high school years, it was the same type of thing. We played basically a local league all the way up until graduation. There was no, you go to, East Cobb, and there's no, you go to, not even Domination didn't exist.
Didn't exist, right?
All
Jack
these-
Hust, yeah.
Didn't exist. And you played that in-house town, league until football started or whatever in the fall, and that was that. And then fall baseball was kind of around, but I would go play on Sunday after limping down there after my football game from Saturday.
Sure.
And try and pitch is basically what it was.
And Rob, we grew up in West Haven.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Rob before about this, Chris. I was so privileged. I'm 58 years old. I never had a coach that got paid till high school. And even in the American Legion, Billy Wyrather coached for free.
Wow.
Mike Sywick and Dave Riccio coached the teams for free.
Dave Riccio.
And they did it because they loved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never forget Pat Short, he's a scout
Yeah,
You
sure, I know. Yeah.
And Pat goes, "Who are the two bumblebees in the yellow uniforms?" Because American Legion Post had the bumblebee uniforms. They wore yellow pants, Rob, and yellow shirts. It was a yellow fit. You know what I mean? And I go, those guys been doing it for 20 years, and they did it. I mean, they love doing it. And you know why they did it? I think, Rob.
Yeah.
Because somebody did it for us for free.
That's right.
You know, Rob and I talked about before. West Haven High School, Mr. Hunt would open the gym for us, and stayed until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night. We would play basketball. We could lift weights. Mr. Hunt would stay on the football field. Mr. Amendola, and I call him Mr. because that's what they were. They deserved that respect.
Yeah.
You know, Rob, I think those days are gone. I'm sad about that too. I was telling Chris, I'm part of the problem too. You know, I get paid to coach in the summer. Right on.
Yeah,
Well, we got a question from Dennis Buckstein.
Oh, the great D-Buck.
Yeah,
He
D-Buck.
knows everything about baseball.
So he goes, college, so here's his question or his comment. College coaches promote this spending of money. They get paid to go to the showcases.
Well, I don't necessarily agree that college coaches promote it. So essentially what happens there is the showcase circuit began, and no one ever got paid to go to these when it first began. Then somebody came up with the idea, well, if I'm having mine the same day as Rob Thompson's having his,
Yep.
how do I get everybody at mine? So now, okay, how do you get everybody at yours? You start paying guys, then you're going to get more coaches obviously attending yours.
They show up.
Yeah, so that kind of weeded out the competition. Then once one person did it, everyone had to do it. You know, head coaches rarely go to showcases for the money. We send our volunteers who don't get paid. We send our assistant coaches who make less than the head coaches. But unfortunately now it is a culture of that, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Mm-hmm. But the reason that whole thing started was because one group said, we start paying coaches, we'll get them because no one else is. So we have to have coaches at our event, or what are the people paying for?
Oh, yeah.
So to say that coaches are really cultivating that or leading that charge, that's not correct. No college coach has ever said, hey, I know you're having a showcase, I need $200 to come down. It's more the other way. We get invites, and it's included. So at least no coaches I know.
Yeah.
You know, Rob, you were at New Haven in its
Yeah.
heyday.
Yeah.
And they went to 6 College World Series in a row.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
6 College World Series in a row. Back then, Frank Vieira didn't leave that office.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The players came to him. The high school coaches loved Frank. When I say Coach Vieira, I should say Frank.
Yeah.
That's Coach Vieira.
Yeah.
Guy won 1,000 games.
Yeah.
Have you seen 1,000 games yet, Chris?
No, I think I'm close though.
Yeah.
I think I'm
But
close.
think about it. He won over 1,000. Well, he'll have the number 1176. I think I looked it up today.
Yeah.
But Coach Vieira never left that office.
Right.
Recruiting. The guys walked in. He said, "Hey, Lou, you seen Steve Debo pitch?" Yeah. I saw him at Trumbull American Legion.
Yeah.
He's outstanding. He's he's bulldog. You know what he did here?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's the only guy. He won the MVP of on a losing team. Pitcher. Think about that.
Yeah.
Pitcher on a losing team. MVP of the College World Series down in Montgomery.
And through 40 innings, I think, in that World Series.
So how about this
Jeez.
though? So let's talk about the recruiting process though.
Yeah.
Do you tell your parents there's a part of it you really need to take the bull by the horns, like you need to be proactive and you need to reach out to schools that you want your kid to look at, because sitting back and waiting for the recruiting process to start is a tough thing for a parent to do.
Yeah, I think, you know what happens is, because of social media,
Yeah.
and we're on it now, I think a lot of things are written on social media, and the parents panic. You know, Chris, I see posts of my players, and there's a kid on my team that posted he's going to blah, blah, blah university, and he's not going to get a uniform at Ward Melville. I mean,
Right.
he's not going to see the field. He might be lucky enough to put the tarp on the pitcher's mount. You know what I mean? But yet he's going to go to college and play baseball.
I think I know where you're going with this, Louis,
Yeah.
and you make a lot of sense. I say a lot of times Facebook has replaced the bumper sticker that my kid's an honor student,
Yes.
yeah.
right?
Oh, that's awesome. I
Right,
love that.
yeah.
I'm using that the next parent
Yeah,
meeting.
it is.
Can I credit you with that?
Please do.
Well, we'll
Please
take
send a
some after
check.
Chris.
Yeah,
Send a check.
But see,
That's all the credit he can get.
That's
Yeah.
about it. Because there is no fact finding or
No, we
fact
do
checking.
no fact checking at this.
Yes.
Zero of it.
Twitter's the worst.
Yeah.
Twitter's the worst. I mean, we got guys out there in Long Island printing stuff. Blah 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 is going to blah 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 university, and I called the coach up right away. I called. As a matter of fact, it was Joe Panucci, Eastern Tennessee. I said, Joe, is this coming to your college? No. He's gonna be a preferred like tryout. What's
preferred
the
walk-in?
preferred tryout?
Yeah.
Right.
That means he gets to get like a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Well, how's that work? He goes, well, he has to stay for the whole fall. I go, well, the people are promoting that he's like committed to your school. I wouldn't want that getting around.
So here's another question from Dave. He writes, "What about the philosophy?" So Louis, we'll start with you. What about the philosophy of many to work at one sport year round? Is there 3 sport athletes, few and far between? Whereas when we're kids, multiple sport athletes. So basically, he's talking about multiple sports
Sure.
athletes. What's your position as a high school coach who kids who just play one sport as opposed to multiple sports?
I want them to play more than one sport.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the business of baseball
Yeah.
is preventing those kids from doing so. Because think about it, Stephen Matz. I keep bringing up Stephen, but he's the best player I ever saw at Ward Melville.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I can't. If a guy gets to the big leagues out of Ward Melville High School,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. And Anthony Kay, by the way, is in spring training camp.
Yep.
So him and Stephen are going to be on the same team, pitch against the same hitters.
Were they one sport athletes, both those?
Yes. And I say that, Rob, you know why? Because if you're going to play baseball, you got to go to these fall showcases.
Yeah.
Because in the spring, Chris Solano's busy. Chris doesn't have time to drive down from New Haven to Ward Melville to watch a baseball game, get back on the ferry, go back home. He just doesn't have time to do it. So the showcases in the fall are tantamount. And how's the kid going to play football in the summer? Rob, how many weeks you spend? Well, when did football start in New Haven? When you played?
February.
February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have, 2 weeks off,
Actually,
maybe?
2 weeks after the season ended.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now the kid's got to get in the gym. He's got to lift. Like Stephen Matz, Anthony Kay, Joe Flynn, Max Nielsen, all these guys that played at Ward Melville,
Yeah.
they would have been tremendous quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine Stephen throwing a football left-handed
Right.
in an Anthony Kay who ran a 6.5 60? Anthony
Yeah.
Kay's pitcher, he ran a 6.5 60, Rob. Can you imagine him in a read option?
So you want him. So basically, you want him to do it, but
Yeah.
but the system doesn't allow it.
Business of baseball,
The
Rob.
business of baseball
Right.
doesn't allow
You
it.
got summer baseball tournaments now. Listen,
Yeah.
you played baseball. Summer baseball ended August 15th.
Yeah.
It doesn't end. Rob, it doesn't end.
Keeps going.
Yeah, there's tournaments in late January.
Oh, yeah.
Late August.
Late August, yeah.
Late November. If it's warm out, they'll have a tournament. And the kid will feel like, and the summer league coach will say, "Oh, there's going to be college coaches there." Really? The parents don't know. Excuse me, that there are blackout dates.
Yeah. Dead periods for us.
Yeah, and you can't leave. You can't go recruit. But the parents don't know that, and these tournament directors, no offense to them, are selling these tournaments as college showcases, and nobody's going to be there. But the kid feels he's got to play, and I wish they could get away from that. But Rob, it's too much money involved.
Yeah.
You run a tournament, they're charging $1,300. Perfect game is $2,900 a team. Rob, 364 teams are in perfect game tournament. We talked about that.
Yeah.
At $3,000 a clip.
It's beautiful.
It's a great
Chris,
country.
and from a college side, you had.
Sorry, Chris.
I mean, it's all right. We're bouncing over because I know you had a player that plays football.
Yeah. Here we were fortunate enough. Unfortunately, he was done with us.
Yeah.
Graduated and played his 5th year. He went and got his master's here. NCAA rules allows you to exhaust your eligibility in one sport and have 1 year left to still compete in another sport. And he ended up playing football this past spring. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. It
Yeah,
was
did
huge
well.
for them down the stretch. I think when we recruit, the bare bones, we recruit athletes. And everybody will tell you that. I'm not
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel. The reality is, I would love, and I do encourage, all the guys I recruit and all the guys I sign to play multiple sports. If you can play football, basketball, and baseball, or any variation of different sports, 2 things happen, in my opinion. You become a better athlete, number 1. Number 2, that burnout factor doesn't really happen, baseball-wise. Because you play fall baseball, you take your lessons or do whatever you do indoor in the winter. Before you know it, you're back out on the field for your spring, your summer, and then you start the process over again. I just think at a young age you get overloaded. And I think you would love to be able to say, we can play 3 sports and get the same amount of exposure and get the same amount of opportunity. But the reality is, as Lou pointed out, I don't know if that's possible.
But from a coach's perspective, though, as much as you want your kids to, in theory, you want your kids to play multiple sports, but aren't you a little bit selfish sometimes because you don't want your kids to get hurt and you want them to, especially on a college level?
But in high school,
Yeah.
I think the key in baseball, and Chris, you know this well, if you teach these kids how to compete in other sports, it translates.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we had this great story at Ward Melville. His name was Pat Morelli, football player, playing at Hamilton. Nicest kid in the world, right? Father's a doctor, mother's a doctor, They live in Oldfield, the hollowed hills of Oldfield, by the way. You know what I'm saying, Chris? It's like, that's big money.
Yep.
And it's like Orange. Like
Yep.
we used to Orange. Like
Yep.
when I crossed the Boston Post Road, Rob,
Yeah.
it was these houses have windows, Dad.
Right. Right.
Oh my God, Dad, that's a wood. They,
Right.
they have a porch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a police escort to get you out of those
Yeah,
neighborhoods, Louis.
Well, if I don't get out of here, if the police don't be at Lorenzo's, it's
Right.
a problem. But
Yeah,
Rob,
yeah.
my point is that kids need to compete. This kid Pat Morelli
Yeah.
got cut in 7th grade,
Yeah.
cut in 8th grade, cut in 9th grade, and he played football all that time. 10th grade, he's trying out, and his brother Justin Morelli played for Coach Muscarella, my longtime assistant coach. And I watched him. He got a triple off Joe Flynn in a tryout, a 6-day tryout on the turf field on that beautiful complex you know well, Chris.
Yep.
That they play a lot of sports on. And he hit a triple. I said, what's he doing? He's a football player. He is? Who cut him? Both guys got fired. Both coaches got fired. And he played a little bit. He didn't play much, Rob.
Yeah.
He still played football. He was an all-county lineman, all-county linebacker. He's a great athlete. Pat Morelli, but the nicest kid in the world. I think he's an altar boy. He's a legitimate altar boy at St. James Church. Pat Morelli comes out. Ron Muscarella says, watch this kid work. He had the worst swing, Rob. Worst swing. Batted .560. Clutch hits, doubles, triples, home runs, Chris. Laying out in the outfield for balls. Competitor. 2 strikes. He foul pitches off. Stick his bat out. Base hit to right field. Won so many games for Pat Morelli. Because he played football.
Yeah.
And he became a competitor. And he learned how to get his head beat in, certain practice days. And he learned how to grind it out. I think you cannot take away that thing from kids.
Yep.
I wish all more of my kids would play football. I encourage it. But I think it's just too difficult, Rob.
Yeah.
They're worried about, the college coach is not going to see us this summer.
Mm-hmm.
The college is not going to see us in the fall. I think if you're good, the college coach, the pro coach, the Little League coach, they'll find you.
They'll find you.
What do you think about that, Chris?
Agreed. I think there's very few guys that, were supreme talent that got completely overlooked because they played football in the fall, and they didn't do, and they had missed part of their summer for, going to football camp. So I think if you're good enough, they find you. But I understand both sides. I understand the anxiety of saying, well, if I don't play my full summer, my 10th grade summer, my 11th grade summer are huge for my recruiting aspect of things. So I get both sides. I do.
But look at Kyler Murray. You think he had to play fall baseball?
Yeah.
No. He didn't have to play spring baseball.
Right.
He went hit 16 home runs in the spring.
Yeah.
I don't think he took him any at bats in the fall.
No,
in Oklahoma.
neither. No, probably not. Right?
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying like Steven Matz. I'm sure if Steven went to those showcases, right? Obviously in the summer. But if he played football, they still would have found him.
Yeah, 100%.
And Anthony Kay, they would have found him.
Yep.
Joe Flynn, they would have found him.
Yeah.
Ben Brown, he needed to play baseball.
Yeah.
I love Ben. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But Ben is a pitcher. He's 6'7" now, Rob. 6'7". Matter of fact, his freshman year at Ward Melville, the guy threw him 3 innings. He got fired too. That's the way it goes. You know what I mean? I didn't fire him. I just asked him to, please go coach another sport. You know what I mean?
I'm not
You're
firing you,
out.
but you can't work here anymore.
No.
Yeah, but Rob,
Yeah.
listen, we grew up in this town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the football coach was Frank Camp. The basketball coach was Frank Camp. The football coach was John Scarlos. The basketball coach was John Scarlos. So you had no choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
And those guys here in West Haven, they made it fun for you. You know what I mean? But what happens is now, a guy like me, I can't coach football. You know what I mean? I'm busy with baseball. Because I got kids that want to play. And there's a venue for it. You know what I mean? I can't coach basketball because I'm 5'3" and shrinking and 40 pounds overweight. So, I was doing around all the time, Rob. There's two things I don't do:
Yeah.
slam dunk contests and home run derbies. You know what I'm saying? I stay away from
Everything
those.
else though is good.
Everything else, if
Yeah.
you're gonna eat it,
You're
hot
good.
dog
You're
eating, I
good.
love hot dogs at Nathan's. You know what I mean? We'll have some pizza. You watch me. I'll get a little broccoli rabe and sausage. I'll be happy.
So is each.
You know,
So
Dante Palazzo will be there helping us. You know what I mean?
so let's talk a little bit about let's talk about the NFL playoffs. Let's talk that. Let's
Well, how about
segue.
Hogan? He played. He was the guy
Lacrosse.
Chris
Yeah.
was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He exhausted his eligibility.
Yes.
Right.
Lacrosse wise.
Lacrosse, yeah.
And he went to Monmouth to play football.
Yes.
That's a great point right there.
For 1 year.
For 1 year.
Yeah. And see, he's good.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I always say to my parents all the time, if you're good at what you do, somebody will find you. Like me, I'm not good at interviewing, so thank God you're here, Rob. I'm not going to get cast back. You know what I'm saying? Chris is laughing too. They're not going to find me ever. You know what I'm saying, Chris, if I didn't know you and Robbie, why would I be up here?
Yeah.
What, go down memory lane?
Nah, you
That's
got
all
you
I
got
know.
a permanent seat, Lou.
Well,
But I love the
pharmacy.
Patriots, as you see. I got my Patriot hat here. We stole the logo.
So
I mean,
let's
stole that.
so let's talk about that. You got that both games are controversial endings, right? The Patriot game, you got Brady getting a roughing the passer when it's a little slap to the side of the head, if that, which was a pivotal play that turned into right. You get that offsides or encroachment. Or in neutral zone, which you could call every single down if you wanted to. You make it in a critical play, and then you get the pass interference call.
But Rob, you play football at a high level.
Yeah,
Do you think now, because of all the cameras,
Yeah.
that every play is now magnified? You know what I mean?
at that level, though, when a lot is running on that, and there's so much money involved, they have the technology. I still think if you have a call like that, you should be able to red flag that call. You should be able to overturn a bad penalty.
Yeah, but do you think the game came down to that one penalty, or was it the coach's decision to run or pass? I mean, I never second guess other coaches.
No.
Because I know the parents are second guessing me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our football coach is second guessing Sean Payton.
Yeah,
I say, what?
yeah.
What? Oh, well, hold on. That guy's got more rings and you got wins.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You don't know the history. You know what happened in practice.
Yeah,
you don't know any of those
what
things.
the guy upstairs is looking at.
Right.
On those headsets, you don't know.
You don't know what the kid, what they were running practice plays and
Yeah, but Rob, how many games you play football? Your son played football at Albany, right?
Right.
We were talking about that great game against Stony Brook.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Would a official's decision decide that game, or was it the coach's decisions that decided that game?
That game came down to a kid making an unbelievable play,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Now, could have been avoided if he didn't do a squib kick from his 20-yard line.
And that's scouting. Right, Robbie?
Exactly.
Scouting.
But at the moment, you're making it, you just go up with 11 seconds left in the game. This game, for whatever they knew at that time, they had to win this game to get into the NCAA playoffs.
Right.
They go back. They get penalized for celebration. They're back on their what would it be 20-yard line kicking off?
Yeah.
And they squib kick it. Right. So you got the kick return team is standing on the 50, somewhere around there. One hops it, he takes it. Right. Takes it down to the 30. They kick a field goal. They win the game. Stony Brook's thinking they're out of the playoffs now. Is that a coach's call? At that moment, you just scored. You're like, we got this. We got it. Oh, who's a knucklehead who is celebrating? You're not thinking about that. You're like, just don't put him in position to return it.
Right.
Kid hits it. I don't know if that's necessarily the coach's. Kid just made a great play.
Right.
But it didn't come down to an official's penalty at
Like
all or
even
official's
the
call.
Saints game, we're talking about that play.
Yeah.
We've watched it a million times.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know nothing about football and they play in America.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a real American game. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's a real American game. Like baseball has now become
Yeah.
so global.
Right. It's a Latin
You know?
game now.
And now but
Yeah.
football, like
a
that
Korean
call,
game, yeah.
like if I'm refereeing my first game of my life, I'm throwing every yellow flag I got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the referee, who was probably really experienced,
Yeah.
maybe got too close to the play, or I don't know. But then you hear people on social media, oh, the game is fixed.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I
Can't,
don't
yeah.
know. You know how much
That's
it
never
takes to fix
happened.
that game? I don't believe that.
No.
I don't believe any person with integrity
Mm-hmm.
who got that far, like even the coaching staffs, those guys get so far. You're not putting your career in jeopardy for what $100.
Well, it's always the guys that are gambling on the games too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Right? They're the ones that.
Right, because your head goes right there.
Right.
But-
Yeah. Those are the guys.
Can you imagine, Rob, what would have happened if that play went against the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
I could see Jerry Jones getting his helicopter and taking the helicopter right down to the field in about 15 seconds. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Or Wellington Mara, or, how about Steinbrenner? Steinbrenner on the football team. What would
Yeah.
happen?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Dead bodies.
Dead
Rob, what was
bodies.
your take on that? I mean, you play football at a high level for
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah.
I mean, you know about the preparation it takes.
Yeah.
I think baseball is such a great game because you don't know what's going to happen. But football,
Here's the difference. And I was just telling someone this the other day. Practicing football is not fun. Practicing basketball, and you see guys playing hockey and pre-skates. They're having a ball, right? You could continue playing for a very long time. Baseball, same thing.
Right.
You could
Softball.
play for softball, same thing. You actually enjoy playing. Football, you don't enjoy practice. You literally despise going out there. No one likes getting up at 5 and going into the weight room. But those are things that's why there's not a lot of people that play the sport, because and you get 10 games. Could you imagine only playing 10 games,
No.
right?
in
No.
New York,
And if-
they play 8.
Right. Well, upstate New York, they were playing 7 for a long time.
7
They didn't have the
games?
teams. They didn't have enough teams. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What, soccer?
7, 8. No, they don't have but there's not a population up there. So you just you don't have enough. You don't have enough schools.
I think Connecticut football it was always so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because it was just rivalries. Like Thanksgiving Day football in
Yeah.
Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts.
Right. New
That was
Jersey.
so much fun. Derby, Ansonia. I mean, in Pennsylvania, you had Phillipsburg, Easton.
Yeah.
You had like those 15,000 people. I mean, Hampton, the Green Bowl. I mean, I went to the Green Bowl every time I came home. If West Haven didn't have a game, West Haven played Hill House. They'll play Wilbur Cross. They rotated.
Right.
But with Long Island, they just stopped playing.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if they ever got together and made Thanksgiving Day football, it'd be a home run. Every kid would be there. The alumni would be there. It would be $5 a head. Make 15,000. It's sports business. I think.
Yeah.
Long Island, they don't charge to watch sports events.
Really.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like even when I was in high school, I saw Whitey Purk.
Yeah.
Whitey Purk sat at that gate. That'll be $2, old boy.
Yeah.
Coach, I don't have $2. You do now.
Yeah.
You'll owe me $2.
Yeah.
And like football games, the guys at West Haven, the guys who didn't want to pay because they were angry, they're waiting outside the gate.
Halftime.
Yeah, halftime, Robbie. All of a sudden, all the Westies come in. You know what I mean?
Well, they spent all their money at Randall, so they couldn't.
Rob,
Yeah.
I'm going to jail now.
Yeah.
We cut the fence
Yeah.
by the corner. The corner over there by
Yeah.
the Turks.
Yeah.
We cut the fence so we could like squeeze it in and not pay, and we slither along the sideline like little snakes in the grass.
Yeah. $2, you had to empty out your piggy bank to get those
Like
to
that's 8
those.
quarters. That was a lot back then.
Yeah.
Rob.
So, but I mean, I did this study one time. It was just kind of, I guess you could say it was a little bit of a case study, just to give people a perspective on the business of sports. And if you look at high school teams and you look at a team, it doesn't have to be a team in Texas, but if you just look at a normal high school team that has 5 home games and just say they have 2,000 paying fans that walk in, typically you're going to spend $5, right?
Yeah.
So $5, you got $10,000 in gate receipt, and then you have the concession. Right, so if you multiply that by the 5 home games, you're looking at $50,000, not including concession. That $50,000 pays for something,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it could pay for the officials for all the sports.
Yeah.
I mean, it could pay for the lights.
Right. It,
know,
it pays for that. Look
security.
at hockey, West Haven hockey. They pack them in over there, right? They used to, at least.
Oh.
You get the gate, you got the concession. It is at the end of the day, it's a microcosm of a business, of the sports industry, and how it works. And
I asked my
Yeah.
my AD about that, Rob. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I asked my AD about that, and I think you live there, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The taxes
yeah,
in 3 Village homes are astronomical. I remember a woman who I worked next to for 15 years, Miss Tarpinian. She moved to Colorado. Her taxes were $36,000. I said, Kim, if you gave me your house, I have to punch you in the face. So why? I couldn't afford to live there. You know what I mean?
Couldn't afford the taxes.
I said, Kim, what are you doing to me? Well, I said, you can't give me the house. That's rude. I'm stuck. $3,000 a month.
Yep.
Taxes. And they don't go away. You know? So I think you can't ask the taxpayers and paying that much money now to support the athletic program to watch the games.
Could you ask high school kids to pay to play? I mean, that's coming, right? Do you guys have it at your high school?
No. Everything's free. You can play, you can play any sport you want. You can play any instrument you want. I'll tell you, Three Village School Districts. No offense to anybody here, it's the greatest place I've ever seen. I mean, the money they put into athletics.
Yep.
And Chris, you know that.
Yep.
We have science labs. We have computer labs. Kids have their own Chromebooks. I mean, there's teachers upon teachers upon teachers.
Oh,
There's
with
resource
property
rooms.
taxes like that, they should.
I mean,
they should be there.
They support the community.
Yeah.
We've got guys, women, men and women dedicated to these kids. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, the affluence. And you know what? It's made sports, it's made sports great
Yeah.
because we got great facilities. We have great people running the program. We have 3 secretaries in the office. I mean, did you ever see Whitey? Whitey have a secretary?
His wife, maybe.
No,
Yeah.
nobody worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mr. Hunt, when he was AD,
Yeah.
there was no secretary. It was Tom Hunt in between his running. You know what I mean? You know, Mr. Hunt.
What was that running? Was that? It was.
Listen, if I could run like that, I would. Mr. Hunt is a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, one of the nicest people I ever met.
Yeah.
He dedicated his whole life to West Haven sports. He was a great football player. Where did he play college football at, Rob?
I want to say
Southern
Bridgeport.
Connecticut.
Southern. That's right.
He was a great football player.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hunt was to keep the gym open every day. Like, if you went there on Saturday, you could stay there till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He'd say, chew his gum, just lock the door, okay? And don't tell anybody, especially Whitey. You know what I mean? And he would...
Whitey Purick is a legend.
Oh, yeah, we won over
Whitey Purick.
500 games, but then the truth came out one day. I talked to Mr. Kessler,
Yeah.
Louis Kessler's father.
Sure.
Was a great player at West Haven High School, and there was a big article. Whitey's record is 596. So, wow, that's a heck of a record. You know, 500 wins, 96 losses. Louis Kessler goes, "There's no way that happened." He goes, "What? We played Notre Dame. Notre Dame was good. We were like 3-17 for like 17 years in a row." so Whitey must have forgot about the losses, and don't we all?
Right.
The losses, right, Chris?
Yeah.
What do you got? You got 3 losses, right, in New Haven?
Oh,
How many
yeah.
you got? 3?
Believe me, the losses stay with you longer than the wins. That's how it works.
But this business of sports, though, Rob,
Yeah.
is so interesting because I think it's become we talked about it before. You can't outsource sports.
No.
You know what I mean? You can't outsource lessons. You know,
Right.
and the guys get a lot of money for pitching lessons, and people don't really care the credibility. Chris, I joke all the time with Robbie. He says, parents call me, "Can you give my son some lessons?" I said, "Sure." When you want to do it? Tomorrow. Well, how much do you charge? I'll do it for free. They never show up. They don't ask. You know why? It's free.
Right.
But anybody who taught me anything did it for free. You know, Mr. Scott, my Little League coach, practice twice a week. I didn't even buy him a gift. You know what I mean?
He's still waiting, Louis.
Yeah, he's still
He's still
waiting.
waiting for that gift.
Listen, I owe him
still
everything.
waiting.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're still waiting.
Mr. Crowley, Mr. Bartley,
Yeah.
Harry Molyneux. You know, those guys are police officers. You know what I mean? They did everything for free, Chris. I mean, like, this town had 30-something Little League teams. If you went down to Morris Park on a Saturday afternoon, Chris, you would love it. I mean, you would see baseball guys coaching baseball kids. And the baseball was great. And there was another Little League by where you live, Robbie. Shorehaven Little League. There was 2 Little Leagues in this town. It's like Massapequa in New York, you know. They got great Little Leagues. And those guys were all volunteers. The president of the league was a volunteer. The people that ran the stands were volunteer. Today, people don't move unless they're making a buck. And I don't know if it's the taxes, Rob. I don't know if it's the pressure for disposable income. You know, but we got parents paying $6,500, Chris, to play travel baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
65.
And that's not even the most expensive. I've heard. I know that.
What?
There's some that
More
are
expensive than that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe not in that area, but in the throughout the country, there it's more than that.
I mean, you
A
have
lot of
more.
places.
You have more of a connection than I do because, Chris, what happens to you? Let's say there's a program out there that's sending you players.
Yep.
Right, and you know that they're paid to be overrated. I mean, do you call the high school coach? What do you do? I mean, you and I have had many conversations about this.
Yep.
You know, I trust you when I tell you something. But some college guys, you tell them something, Rob, and they go back to the parents. Well, your high school guy said your son stinks. Oh, yeah, I did say that. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to say? Like, I would never lie to you. Because if I lie to you once, Chris, our relationship is done. I'm not on the podcast.
No, you're not.
No kids going to New Haven.
No.
We're not going to Lorenzo's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I might have to buy it tonight.
Right.
I'm embarrassing Robbie Thompson so much. You know what I mean?
To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I think we evaluate the student athletes we recruit, and you got to trust your eyes. I mean, the people I trust, you included, who call me and recommend someone to me. Well, two things have to happen. Number one, I have to be able to trust you, and be able to realize that you're giving me someone that might be worth my while. Number two, conversely, I also have to be at the 11th hour, be able to tell you, like, Lou, I went and saw him, he's just not for us. And not feel bad about it. And not
right.
feel like, I'm doing you a disservice.
I know you got to win here in New Haven.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's a tradition here in New Haven that I think is the best in the country as far as Division II baseball goes. Because you got to remember, Quinnipiac was Division II, gone. They went to Division I. Why? Because of Frank Vieira. Mm-hmm. Sacred Heart, Division II, gone. You know why? Coach Vieira, right? Lemoyne was Division II, went to Division I, Coach Vieira. They couldn't beat New Haven, so they got out. And now if New Haven goes to Division I, and you give this guy 11.7 scholarships, we got to raise $40 million, by the way. Bring New Haven baseball back to Division I. You know what's going to happen? You know how great you're going to have it here? Because I think every alumni, and the alumni love New Haven. They will bring you players. They will send you guys. You'll be like Coach V.
He didn't.
Oh, boy.
He doesn't know that, but we're going to be playing down at Quigley Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, if you built, let me tell you something. Quigley Stadium
Yeah.
was the most fun. My childhood memories going down Tobacco Road here, as Coach V would say.
Yeah.
Right.
Tobacco Road.
Right. That was the greatest place to watch baseball. Do you realize Mickey Mantle went and did a free clinic there for kids? Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Buck Showalter played there. Dave Righetti played there. I mean,
Bucky Dent.
yeah, Bucky Dent. Jim Rice played there.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton Fisk, Freddie Lynn. And those guys, if you went there before the game, they would have a catch with you. And those days are gone. I mean, people be down there. We never asked Mickey Mantle for an autograph. We wanted to watch him hit.
Right.
You know what I mean? We wanted to see him throw. You know what I'm saying?
Billy Gambardella just joined on. Legendary.
No,
Billy.
let's go, Billy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Billy, ask Louie a question. We were talking about you before. So, all right. He'll ask something, baby.
He's the best.
He's the best.
He's in the Hall of Fame here. He's in the Hall of Fame of West Haven.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame here. And he's got a younger son.
Yeah.
Johnny's going to be legit, Chris. He's 6 foot now. And if Johnny's any good, he's going to come to Ward Melville. So West Haven. You know what I mean? And I told Billy, I promised Billy and Joel and Johnny, if he stinks, we send him back home. You know what I'm saying? Is that recruiting, Chris? Is that allowed?
I didn't hear
We
nothing.
went to Ward Melville. I mean, I know it's on social media, but who's going to believe me now?
Right.
I
It doesn't
rip
matter
social
anyway.
media.
Right.
Now, about social media, rip me too. Whatever. It's not
Live
fun.
on the boat. Live on the boat.
But
That's
Rob,
all.
you know here,
Yeah.
and coming back here, you and I
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
What do you think the difference is in West Haven
Yeah.
from Saratoga Springs?
Oh, boy. Well, number one, it's got the oldest racetrack in the country.
course,
you
right,
know,
right.
so, I mean, when you're living a tourist destination, it's just a different vibe because you have a lot of transients.
Oh, wow.
You have a lot of transients. You have a lot of people that did not grow up there, like myself, who raised a family there.
Sure.
So it's a different culture. There's not generations of people whose, my family have been here forever. My grandfather played here in football here in the 30s.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so I'm part of the Irish
He played
Mafia.
with Ken Strong?
No, it was Billy Irons.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mr.
Billy Irons, Mr. Ferguson, Red Bailey. Back in the 30s, guys had names like Red Bailey. That's like a.
And they were legitimate tough guys.
yeah,
like
they-
you would never look Mr. Irons in the eye.
Yeah,
like,
Billy.
he would kill you.
And his nose was all crooked, and those guys would play their Thanksgiving Day game at the Yale Bowl, and 50,000 people will go to those games.
Because it was a community based.
Yeah. So.
How about Mr. Amendola? Think anybody talk to him?
Oh yeah, babe.
Oh, you wouldn't call him babe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got kids. You like this, Chris? I got kids on my team.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's social media, but this irks me, and I'm gonna get going right away. It might be another podcast. They try to call me by my first name. And I'm old school.
Yeah.
You know, and I would never call my coach by his first name. Never.
Even now, when you see your
I
coaches,
see. I mean,
still it's
most
coach.
of those guys. I know. I'm sorry, are deceased, but
Yeah.
I would never call Mr. Hunt
Yeah.
by his first. All the things he did for me. Are you kidding me, Rob? You know too, Mr. Hart. I would never go up to him and say, "Hey, Everett, how you doing?" I mean, I got kids calling by my first name. Like, I think the parents are letting kids do that.
Yeah,
Like,
they without a doubt.
Yeah,
I've had
well-
my kids' friends who are young kids call me by my first name. I'm like, well, it's Mr. Thompson. I don't know. I'm not sure who Rob is.
Right.
But to get back to that question you asked before, what's the difference?
sorry.
So here's the biggest difference.
Like
The biggest
Tony Short
difference.
again now.
The biggest difference of growing up in a town like West Haven was everybody was on the same economical level.
exactly.
In a town, we lived in Madison for a while before we moved up to Saratoga. There's the haves and the middle, and then the have-nots. There's a big difference, and the kids know it. But in West Haven, we all had crappy cars. We all lived in small homes.
If
Our
you had a
dads,
car.
right? Our dads put work boots on.
Yeah.
You know, even the African American kids, the Puerto Rican kids,
Yeah.
everybody was on the same page.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
So there was never that divide. Never.
And they loved each other.
Absolutely.
I'm serious.
And when you grow up in a town like this, you're more prepared, in my opinion, because I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, and him and he grew up on the side of town, little Kenny Jackson, hilarious,
Yeah.
little African American kid, and we were talking about that now as adults, how things change. I said, when we were younger, going camping bring him camping with my family, and I said we didn't look at. Color wasn't an issue. We didn't
No.
look at it. It's
No.
either you're a good guy
Right.
or you're an ass.
Yeah, right.
There's no in between.
Right.
And when you become adult, that changes. And
I think social media
a lot of
that, Rob.
yeah,
The kids write things on social media. They
Yeah.
won't say to your face.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it gets back to you somehow. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to change. You know what I mean? I worry about this next generation. Is that what are they going to do when they're coaches, and the people want to like be their buddies? Hey, let's Twitter. Let's play video games together.
You-
Like what?
You know,
Video game?
Louis, I was on that podcast from Elizabeth, and she asked me that question. She was saying, "What do you think about the difference?" And I said, "Well, remember that when online started and the web started and the social media started, we were all right in the middle of it all. It's not like you can't say I didn't grow up with it. Well, you were in your 20s and 30s when it happened.
Right.
How did you not grow up with it? Were you an old person at 30 years old or 20 years? No. If you didn't grow, you may not have a job that required you to be fluent in it, right? In digital marketing and social media. And I understand that part of it. My response to her to say to parents was, you have to be, not only do you have to have rules, and don't say my kids don't do this, you have to be empathetic for that next gen who grew up with it essentially starting at 12. We started it at emails. I remember getting emails in my late 20s and early 30s, right? It was part of business. And you couldn't wait to get an email, right? Because you open up every single email, right? Every single email, you couldn't wait to get it, right?
Before that, the word spam didn't come up yet.
Right, and it was AOL. You got to wait
Right.
forever. And, I got to, you got
mail.
mail, right?
You got mail, yeah.
Now,
More than a movie.
Right now, you've moved away. Once you got this in your hand, you couldn't wait to get calls. Now you don't even answer anybody's calls. The worst part is you know who's calling you, unless it's your mother, and sometimes you're not even answering that. So now, what does it turn to? It turns to texting. And it turns to short form media. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Can I call you later?
Yeah, I
busy now.
I feel in the sense that I think the good and evil of it. It's definitely an addiction. I think there's no doubt about that. I think it's been proven psychologically that is addiction. It's no different than
I think that's detracted from sports, Rob.
yeah,
Guys
but
aren't playing like they used to. That's why they need more lessons.
Yep.
You know?
it takes up people's free time is different now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but I think empathy was the word I used. I think I'm being empathetic, saying it's if we had this, thank God, Louis, we got in at just the beginning of Madden and video games,
yeah.
right? So all the guys most of the guys I know are still gamers.
There was one box in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the Gambardellas had it. and we flocked there.
Yeah.
And Jerry was the best.
Yeah.
Jerry was the best. He'd kick everybody's butt.
Yeah.
I think he still does it
You're
today.
playing Asteroids and
Yeah.
all of those games. They were great.
We went to Turks and Jimmy's and we put quarters in the machine for hours.
I remember my senior year here.
Pac-Man.
Was a big thing was Madden. Madden just came out,
yeah,
right?
Madden,
So Madden just came out, or it was 10-yard. It was a Tecmo Bowl 10-yard fight, and it was addicting. We stayed up all night. It was like, man, I got to go to sleep. We got camp. We got to get up at 5 and go to camp. So I don't know if that was there. If we really had the resources that has happened now. I think that's knocking a lot of kids out of playing sport. Here's another thing. The great thing about it is, it's definitely replaced. We would watch every single game growing up, right? Every pro game we were watching. Baseball, we would switch sports, and we knew all the players. Most of the kids, and Chris, you could correct me if I'm wrong, you know a lot of the players from playing video games, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
So you know who's right. You know for Madden who are some of the better players, and what else? What other games you play?
Well, mostly like fantasy sports too. You're
Ah,
drafting these players, you follow them, and you watch them every Sunday. So
Yeah.
you just get more familiar with the players instead of the teams.
Yeah,
because
that
of
was-
fantasy.
Yeah,
that, I was going to bring
Yeah.
that up. Like
Yeah.
that is a vehicle now where you become, like you said, a fan of the league, rather than having a diehard team that you follow and root for.
Yeah.
Because fantasy sports now is gigantic. You can't say that it's not relevant anymore.
huge.
People,
Right.
people,
DraftKings.
yeah, people tried to, and once DraftKings and
Yeah.
those daily sites start to come out,
Yeah.
and be legalized, forget it. Because
Yeah.
now you can play every night, and now it's not just once a week. But what he said is right on. Like you're getting people that love the sport and the league now,
Yeah.
more so almost than having an allegiance to a team or an important allegiance to a team.
Right.
It's what's my fantasy team.
What's my
doing?
favorite? Do you see a lot of? I'm sorry, Louis.
no, go ahead.
Do you
Go
see a
ahead.
lot of college kids gambling, or do you see are they into more DraftKings and fantasy?
Yeah, I think it's more DraftKings and fantasy than like betting on games and stuff like that.
I
Really?
can't control a little
That's
bit.
not yet. It's coming.
Well, I also think that there is, and this might be if there's a better way to gamble. Realistically, a site like DraftKings or any of those,
Yeah.
I think the collection methods of the two
Yeah.
are a lot different.
Right.
And unfortunately,
And the credit lines.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you're going to get
Especially with
involved
saving.
if you're going to get involved in
That's true.
one, I think those vehicles like DraftKings
Yeah.
and FanDuel are probably a lot safer.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, let's just call it what it is. Even though the sports betting and sports booking now is becoming legal in a lot of
Oh,
places,
yeah.
Yeah.
New Jersey, too.
the whole sports society is changing and gonna change. Gambling now is going to become even more prevalent than it's coming from out of the shadows now. And even though everyone knows it goes on, you just don't talk about it. What's going to happen now? What's going to happen now when it is legal?
But I think it's great because I think it's going to drive viewership. I mean, Lito, how many games do you watch that has no bearing on anything, but you're watching it because you want to watch the players that you have on your teams?
Well, we watch Red Zone to see all the
Red
games
Zone.
going on.
It's
Right.
the greatest, right? Red
Right.
Zone is the
ADD.
greatest. Oh, it's the best.
ADD world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
geared for our world right now.
Right.
Exactly right.
Right, it's the best. Red Zone and what's the other one on ESPN for college?
A goal line?
Goal line.
Is that what it's called? Yep.
Yeah.
And MLB Network.
MLB Network as well.
Well, Rob, the best was, I do these clinics on Sundays at
Yeah.
Ward Melville.
Yeah.
And it just before it got really crazy, these video games, we had a kid in our team, Nick Nunziato, played in New Haven.
Sure.
He was the king of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Nick was great. Nick was like unbelievable. And his father would get upset, but Nick was good at it. I have a clinic. Stephen Matz is there, Mike Parisi, Anthony Kay. 3 potential big league baseball players, 2 of which went to the big leagues.
Yeah.
They're all in the camp. Guys, any questions for Stephen Matz? No. Any questions for Anthony Kay? No. Any questions for Mike Parisi, pitch with the Cardinals? No. Any questions for Nick Nunziato? 128 nukes in Call of Duty. Rob, 45 hands shot up. Rob, 45 hands shot up. Rob, 45 hands shot up. Mickey lost his mind. Mickey, you can see Mickey, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of gun did you use? I used an AK-47. What's your kill streak? It was 52 questions.
Right.
I called Tony at
Yeah.
work. Tony was a detective in the 7th squad.
Yeah.
6th squad, 7th squad. And I go, Tony, this is what happened. He goes, Tony lost his mind, started
Right.
cursing at me.
Yeah.
How could you allow this at your baseball camp?
Yeah.
This is what's wrong with America today.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and then I did it again. I do it every year because it's mind-boggling to me. Anthony Kay is going to go to the big leagues. He's going to
Yeah.
pitch in big league camp.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, Anthony will be in the 40 man in September. He's that good.
Yep.
Lefty throwing 94 to 96. Anthony's a great Fortnite player. Loves it.
Who doesn't?
Any questions about baseball? No. And I brought Anthony to Mount Elementary School, by the way. I brought him to Mount. We had a big Anthony K Day. All his old teachers. The great thing about these kids, and Chris knows, you went to Minnesota.
No, believe it or not, I went to private school.
For
I
know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
That's another business
Did you,
podcast.
wait a minute,
Look
time
how I
out.
turned
Time
out.
out.
That's another
Time
podcast.
out. Do you know about his acting career?
Yes.
Oh,
I saw that.
no.
Yes, I remember, before you showed that picture, I think he showed it to me.
I might have.
Or one of his friends, or John Lewis must have.
Maybe.
Oh,
might have.
the YouTube video?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Solano.
Oh, it's
This is
the
big time.
best.
Yeah.
This is before there was CC Sabathia.
Yeah.
That was CC
CC
Solano.
Solano.
Do you know
Yeah.
what
Still
I'm saying?
is.
Lefty
Yeah.
pitcher,
Yeah.
mixing speeds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, we got to jump back. We got to jump back into this, but Kebby Burns says hello, Louie, and
Oh.
she made a statement saying that about West Haven Pop Warner and the history there. Mike Last, 35. Michael Last in the Last family, but Michael Last has been with it for 35 years of Ray Taylor Midget football.
That's great.
And Tony Rocci.
Oh,
is
Tony's the man.
Tony's going on 45 years. I think Tony was the coach when I played at West
he
End.
was.
West End Bichelle's. West End to the end.
Yes.
Joe Gorey, Franny Camp.
Oh. Well, Frank Camp was realtors.
Yeah.
Remember, Robbie? Do you remember there's a Bailey Field?
You're right,
when-
Kebby. There's your
when-
there's your shout out.
When the kids would run behind, they do like a lap, and like when teams are practicing, like if West End would go one way, Realtor go the other,
Yeah.
there will be such violent collisions
Yeah.
behind that concession stand.
Yeah.
Guys be popping each other. You hear pads.
Yeah.
The guys loved it, and the guys and they walk in, they go in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like one day, my brother played for Frank Camp.
Yeah.
You know, and my brother was tough, not like me. He's got beautiful long hair. He's like an Adonis. He's 5. You know my brother,
Yeah,
Ralph?
I do.
He made all district football. He could have went any place he wanted to play football, but he wanted to go to UConn, go to school. All right, whatever. He started learning how to football. He got cuts on his arms, and my father goes, Mr. Camp. He says, "How did my son get cut up?" He goes, "He's not blocking well." He goes, "You teach him how to block well." I said, "I'm not paying for a doctor to fix his arms." I went, "Can you imagine what happened today?
Oh,
No.
Can you imagine that? It'd be a lawsuit."
And lawsuit.
I mean, Franny Camp, he ran. They lost a game, I think.
Yeah.
That's just midget football. 13 years old. They lost a game to the fire department with Mr. Scarlos. You know, they ran outside of Pagels. It was dark. Chris, it had to be 9 o'clock at night on a school night, and these kids are running. Me and my father sitting there waiting for my brother because you were not going to Mr. Camp and say, he's got homework, or he's got a SAT tutor, or he's got math tutoring. You know what I mean?
These guys, they're a real deal.
And good. I know. I follow Mike,
Yeah.
and it's impressive that those guys are still giving to the community.
Yeah.
I think midget
Amazing.
football great around here. Midget
Yeah.
football was so exciting.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
remember you had 6 teams.
They
Rob.
still go to, yeah, we had over 300 kids, somewhere like that played in midget football, and
Right.
even now they still go down to play the national championship down in Walt Disney World.
at
the
one
Pop
field.
Warner. Yeah.
And the big deal is they played at Yale Bowl one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
West Haven played football. I don't know who they played. They played at Yale Bowl. It was
Yeah.
so exciting for the community and everybody. I think
Yeah.
I don't know how to get back to those days.
I don't know.
I loved American Legion baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Chris, you know that American Legion baseball is practically dead.
dead.
Maybe in Middletown it's pretty good, and
Yep.
some of the rural areas in the country it's big. You know,
Yep.
like where Nimmo, who's Nimmo, Brandon Nimmo and the Mets. He never played high school baseball.
Right.
He played American Legion.
American Legion.
That's how they found him.
No kidding.
Yeah. So like in some parts of the country, travel baseball hasn't infiltrated the world.
Right.
You know, and I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad. For me, it's great because if these parents got money, their kids get better.
So let's go back. Kevin said they have 250 players this year in cheerleaders. Yeah, that's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah,
My
it's-
AD would love to have all those cheerleaders.
Oh, jeez.
He loves cheerleading, my AD.
Yeah.
He's an expert on cheerleading.
right.
Pete Mallory. That's another podcast.
There you go.
You get him
Yeah.
on here, it's going to be a riot.
Let's go back to Fortnite. So
Oh.
I don't know if you
I've never
finished
played
it.
Fortnite.
No.
I'm not good at it. I'm lucky I can spell Fortnite, Robbie. Coach Flannel, you a Fortnite athlete?
Have you
I
ever played?
Never even seen it on the screen.
Me neither.
You play.
Not for me.
I don't play, but my friends are obsessed with
Obsessed
Are
with
you
it.
good at it, Rob?
I actually like watching it. I like
Really?
watching my two boys play. As my wife says, only thing I hear are bullets and F-bombs coming in from their rooms.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know, it's
F-bombs.
actually to watch it.
I can't
I
imagine you
think
ever
it
cursed.
actually was. I think it actually is a pretty good game to watch. Like it's genius.
That's you know they have in Long Island now. They have esports high school teams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming.
It's infiltrating college.
It's coming now.
I mean, it already has.
Yeah, it's going to be an NCAA sport pretty
Yeah.
soon. Here's it.
100%.
How about our business, Rob? How about let's go esports travel teams?
It's already there.
Yeah.
Now,
Too late?
Well, I just had a meeting today. We talked about adding esports as a minor here, as part of the sport management program. Yeah, we're gonna have our first class next
Oh,
year.
Nick Nunzial up here teaching it.
Yeah.
Nick can be up here teaching
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
It's
He'd be a
crazy. You know, the
PhD.
thing about it is the numbers of viewers are massive.
That's what I heard.
Massive.
They do it in the garden. I heard it's sold out.
Sold out
Oh,
like
yeah.
this. It's massive. It's one of those things. The beautiful thing about it, you scaled it very quickly. It's easy accessible. You can watch it from anywhere. So the timing of this whole thing, esports and just gaming has been around for a very long time, right? They had Madden tournaments 30 years ago. I hosted one called the Madden Challenge with FYE Stores was our sponsor in Xbox. This was back in early 2000s. And we had our championship at Siena College.
Yeah,
And the
a
great
lot
thing
of-
about it, and from a tournament operator here, I can tell you, you don't have to worry about referees. There's no arguments because you can't do it. Who are you going to argue with, right? You can't argue with it. And you could have a 12-year-old could play a 50-year-old, so there's no age limit to it either.
Wow.
It's just about overall skill set. So it makes sense. So
And
there's
male,
this
female.
one. There's this one.
there's no boundary.
There's a. I know I mentioned this before, but there's a legendary Fortnite player called Ninja, right? And Ninja comes from the old shoot 'em up games, and he found his way to Fortnite.
How old is he?
Ninja's probably in his late 20s. So last year alone. So how they monetize that is they have their own channels, right? They have their own channels on Twitch and they have their own YouTube channels, and they're able to monetize that through Google Ads, right? So they get every time someone views one of their videos, they get anywhere from 10 cents to 30 cents per view, because when you open up a YouTube video, there's that annoying B-roll.
Yeah.
When you're trying to watch Chris's acting debuts in the commercials,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
There's a little commercial that comes up and a little B-roll. In 5 seconds, you could opt out, right?
Right.
Well, if you own that channel, if it's Rob Thompson Live channel, I get 5 to 10 cents per view that comes through, even if you opt out of it. So now when you talk about these guys post videos every single day, multiple times, they're getting sometimes 2 to 3 million views on one video per day.
Times 5 cents?
Right. So you do the math. So you're looking at 50 grand, 40 grand per video. That doesn't even include, that's a check blowing down the street. That doesn't even include sponsorship. That doesn't even include prize money for playing in these tournaments. So there's the business.
They need coaches?
The business is massive. It's going to get at the high school level. You're going to see at some point the NCAA taking it over. I hope they don't get to that point yet, because it still could be independent. But it's going to. Right now, colleges have master's degree or undergrad degrees in esports. But it goes deeper than that. You're talking about the people who do the graphic design, who create the software for it, who create the games. The music piece of it is huge too. So now you have people who are producing music for it. You have tournament operators. You have team managers. It's a micro version of the overall sports world. But when people say it's not a real sport, I'm like, define sports. It's competition, right? It's when two people or a group of people are competing for an ultimate goal of winning. What's the difference? It has brought out the nerds from the basement who would play, Dungeons and Dragons, who now have a platform. The nerds have arrived in that space. And now it's not just the jocks who could compete. Now it's everybody. The only thing on each at any age. And you can sit at your home and compete at a high level and play kids from Japan and all over the world. So it has connected the world more so than even music has, because it's interactive and you're meeting people. And I watch my son sometimes play NBA 2K, and it's on. They have one side of it. You could go in and just play pickup games all day long for people all over the world. It looks like a park in New York City, and you just walk up and 3-on-3 games going, and you have it live on Twitch, so people are watching you
Play.
play. Millions, Louis. So someone said, well,
That's crazy.
So someone said, well, it is crazy, but do you sit there and watch golf? Probably not. There's a lot of people that sit there and watch golf. What the hell is the difference? What the hell is the
Right,
difference?
right. It's on a screen. The guys are competing, right? What's the difference?
What the hell's the
NBA?
difference? So it's the same thing, even though you're not watching it. It's so realistic. It's so real life now. The graphics and the technology that goes behind it, that it looks like a real game, right? So I don't mind watching it because you sit there and this is pretty cool.
What's entertainment? Watching something. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Movies, Broadway plays, whatever it is, it's
Yeah.
entertainment, right?
yeah.
I mean, I watch Chris Solano coach. I'm entertained.
yeah.
I'm glad somebody is.
But come on, what you did here, and you know what? You had to fill those shoes.
Yeah.
It's like replacing Ninja. You know what I mean? No, seriously. You know what I mean?
No,
I always talk about Chris all the time.
yeah.
You know,
Big, massive shoes to fill.
Come on,
Massive shoes to fill.
That's like replacing John Wooden.
Yeah, and he
You know what I
broke
mean?
Coach V's season win record last year.
Oh well, that's
Yeah.
probably was. Well, no offense to Coach V, probably was 4 or 5 pitchers more than V did. Of Kenny Clee and Dante. You know, if Dante was here, it's the greatest story of all time in
Yeah.
New Haven baseball.
Yeah.
Kenny Clee. Remember years ago,
I
New
remember.
Haven was great. Franklin Pierce was horrendous, and New Haven would beat Franklin Pierce like 17-0. You know what I mean? And Clee would throw like maybe 80, 90 pitches. And then Clee went out, you know what I mean? He hung out. He comes back. Dante Palazzo's warming up, you know what I mean? Fiera's watching him warm up.
Yeah.
Clee, go pitch again. And Clee goes another complete game. And they beat Franklin Pierce like 7-2. You know what I mean? Can you imagine if Chris Solano did that today?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how many parents would like say, "You're ruining my son's career.
Yeah.
He's never going to be able to pitch." I mean, that's the business, I think, of baseball. What it's become is that parents have become delusional as to their kids' ability. But in that game, what you just described, there's no delusion.
No.
Think about it. You win or you lose.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
right.
finite.
It's a
arena.
finite,
Yeah,
yeah.
there is no.
Yeah.
Gray
There's
area.
no there's no guessing, Rob. There's
No.
no
Talent.
You lost that kid in Japan.
Right.
Sorry, you're done.
Right.
Who are you gonna complain to?
Now move out. Pack up and move out.
Yeah.
Jay Moran says hello.
Oh, Jay Moran's the man.
Yeah.
He was at Bridgeport too. I mean,
Yeah.
Was he a mayor now? He's mayor.
Jay does it all, right? Jay's an athletic director at Southern, and he's
Oh,
also he's mayor of Whoville, I think. Is he
Wow.
mayor of Whoville, Jay? I'm sure.
Hey, if
Manchester,
I was ever
maybe?
mayor of anything, that'd
Yeah,
be,
he's a mayor.
I forgot about it. It'd be bad news for that.
Yeah,
town.
he's the mayor. I
Jay
know it.
Jay Moran's the best. He's,
Yeah,
what a good
the
guy.
best.
Oh,
Great family.
man.
Great
Always
Westies.
happy.
Great Westies.
Another great Westie.
Great
You know
Westies.
what?
Yeah.
Jay works hard at it.
Yeah.
You know, he started out like everybody else.
Best dressed athletic director in the NE10 by far.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. By far.
Yeah.
By
Better
far.
than better.
Yep.
Than,
By far.
really?
CJ?
Yep.
Yeah.
Best dressed, Jay?
Best dressed.
Is he sponsored by anybody? You got like Men's Warehouse, the J Crew, you know,
Joseph A.
what's he
Banks
got?
or
What's he got?
whatever.
Joseph A. Banks sponsors Jay Moran, of Southern Connecticut.
Yes.
And Timmy Shea, does he have any ties over there?
Well,
Tell Jay, give Timmy some ties. Timmy wear a tie? I
Yeah.
wear a tie every game because I'm pumped up.
yeah.
You know that, Chris. I love ties.
Oh, by the way, you are the best dressed guest we've ever had on the show.
Well, I came right from work because I didn't want to let you down, Rob.
Right.
Well, I think the difference is it's one of the only guests who actually has a job.
Yeah, that's true. Right, he's got a real job.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You know what I call a job? A job is doing what you love and trying to make as much money as you can.
That's true.
You know, I have
Every
a good
day.
time. Well, Rob and I talk about it.
Yeah.
The best time of my life now, is coming in every morning and see I get kindergarten through third grade. It's the best time of my life.
Yeah.
They're funny.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
They're
age.
legit.
Yeah.
They tell you. See, those kids tell you the truth. They don't lie to you.
Yeah.
If you smell, they'll tell you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is
You
true.
know? You know what I mean? They're so unbelievable. I don't know. I want to be the camera. But I want to start esports. When does a kid turn mean? You know what I mean? Like, what's that defining moment when that nice kid all of a sudden gets mad at the world? You know what I mean? It happens. I wish I could be there to stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
That teenage angst comes
Yeah.
at some point.
Right.
you know? We're talking about his son played. You know, remember Mike Dulce,
No.
pitcher, Farmingdale?
No.
Went to St. Anthony's. His brother Brian played at Albany with Robbie's son, and Big Mike, the father, Big CD, Chris Dulce, coaches St. Anthony's lineman football. He played at Clemson, and he was in the game where Woody punched Ohio State punched the Clemson kid,
Oh really?
and Chris Dulce played at Clemson, played. He legitimately was on the field, and he played for Donald Trump with the New York Generals.
Wow.
And
So D Buck said Louis is really good at bus duty.
I'm very good at bus duty,
I could only imagine.
buddy. I'm the best at bus duty.
Parents when
No parents at bus duty. Kids come
no,
in.
they're not dropping them off at the same different location.
No, different location, buddy. I'm safe.
Yeah, right.
But I'm safe.
The bull.
Hey, Rob, how lucky am I? Because I got secretaries that work in my school.
Yeah.
I moved schools.
Administrative assistants now, Lou. It's
Oh,
not
sorry. Yeah,
that's
1980
right.
anymore.
And it's Gina Pedroli,
Yeah.
whose son was captain at Ward Melville, Kyle Pedroli, catcher, caught his last game with a broken ankle at Sachem North. Broke his ankle, refused to come out of the game, caught the whole game, broken ankle. She's the secretary. And Miss Schuster,
Oh yeah.
Miss Singer,
Yeah.
Adam's mother.
Adam
Adam played for Chris at Dowling. Chris
Yeah, for
gave him a
1 year.
scholarship.
1 year.
And Adam Schuster's mother's there too. Another great player at Ward Melville, captain. He hit the only home run off Matt Vogel in high school and college. Matt Vogel never gave a home run in high school, college. Adam Schuster hit it.
I believe it.
And Adam and those two mothers are work in our building. Could you imagine if there were mothers of kids that I cut or didn't play? Huh? Mr. Petrucci had a meeting at 12:30. I didn't get that note.
Yeah. Why is my mailbox always empty?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, evals come back. Oh no, poor. But I got the wrong copy.
All right, boys. I think we did enough damage for this evening.
Oh.
It's about 7 o'clock. I think we need to go eat some macaroni.
Oh, social media not gonna be the same now, Rob.
No, Louis, the door's always open for you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
100%.
Always open for you here.
Buddy,
Anytime.
last people that said that was like 2.5 Men. The guy never left.
Right.
I'd be like, what's his name? What's the guy's name of 2.5 Men?
Right.
What's John Cryer's name?
No.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, you'll be living out. You'll be living out in the garage out there. Now,
wow.
Louis back. We could always call in. You could always call in.
Oh, yeah?
You could always call in.
I gotta get pumped up and do that one.
Maybe I'll have Jay Moran and you as my next guest.
Oh,
That's a
man.
lineup.
Oh, I gotta
That's
get
a
dressed.
lineup.
I don't tell Jay I'll bring my Armani suit. I have one.
Yeah, it's a
Tell
dress.
Jay I'll bring the Armani suit.
Wear
Yeah.
the suit. All right, boys. Thanks so
Bobby,
much,
thank you.
Louis.
Thank you, Chris.
Louis,
Thank you,
Chris,
Chris.
thanks for joining us, Coach. As always, you're listening to the Sports Biz Podcast presented by Game Plan U.
See you next time.
See you next time. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys.
What a show.
Man, I gotta hire you guys dinner. I never had so much fun.
See?
It's a blast.
Oh man, if I